So right now I have what we think is the strongest election integrity measures in the country. I'm actually going to sign it right here. It's going to take effect. So there you go. Bill is signed.
Pretty good. Governor DeSantis there in Florida fighting for the integrity of Floridians' ballots. It's kind of important right now. I mean, he's doing revolutionary stuff. Imagine this. He actually wants to see whether you have proof of a driver's license or social security number before you get an absentee ballot. Imagine that. I mean, you can't ask for that stuff these days. I mean, it doesn't matter that when you get on a plane or you go into a building or even to the doctor's office, you got to show identification. No. When it comes to voting, you're supposed to be able to just get an absentee ballot no matter what. Well, he has now signed into law legislation that would require things like a driver's license. I want him to explain it. It's a little bit long, maybe about a minute or so, but it really outlines what they're doing. Take a listen right now.
We're making sure we're enforcing voter ID. Look, you have to show a picture ID to do all these other things in society, clearly voting. We're also banning ballot harvesting. We're not going to let political operatives go and get satchels of votes and dump them in some drop box. We're also prohibiting mass mailing of balloting. We've had absentee voting in Florida for a long time. You request a ballot, you get it, and then you can mail it in. But to just indiscriminately send them out is not a recipe for success. We're increasing transparency even better. In Florida, we track the votes coming in real time, not the results, but we know who's voting, what your registration is, and we follow the turnout so that when the election's over, we know the universe of votes that have been cast, and it makes it so that someone can't dump 100,000 votes 2 or 3 days later. And then finally, we're prohibiting private money from basically running the elections like these Zuckerbucks that they were doing in all these different parts of the country.
Zuckerbucks. I like that. Anyway, this is what needs to be done, right? This is simple stuff. This should not be controversial. Asking somebody for identification before getting an absentee ballot, making sure that they have a social security number that actually checks against their name. I mean, this is stuff that should happen. Heck, the left wants vaccine passports, but they don't want ID checks. When you go to vote, there's something really disconnected about all of that. And it makes you wonder, like, what exactly are they trying to do? Why wouldn't you want somebody to show their identification? Well, you know what happened in Georgia. You know how businesses were saying, okay, we're pulling out of here because Georgia is not being fair. Well, there's a whole contingent of businesses that may try and pull something similar in Florida, but I don't think they're going to get very far. There's that Yale business professor that's putting together this army of business leaders to say, okay, no go in Georgia. Well, I don't think it's going to fly in Florida. And one of the reasons it's not going to fly in Florida is because so many business leaders are already there. So many businesses have actually, in some cases, gotten office space there, right, during this pandemic, because the tax situation is a whole lot better than it is in, say, New York City or California for that matter. And Florida has stayed open. I love the Disney World, Disneyland example. Florida has stayed open. Kids have continued going to school. These are important things. And so good for DeSantis. He's showing the leadership that, frankly, the country needs. And he's helping the police. Did you hear what he's doing with the $1,000 bonus? Take a listen.
I asked the legislature in this legislative session, we need to do bonuses for law enforcement. Someone to defund the police. We're funding the police and then some.
Good. So $1,000 going out as a bonus to the cops that are trying to keep people safe. Look, we just need to realign our priorities right now to remember that those people, those police officers, they're there to keep us safe. They're not there to do what the left somehow thinks they're doing. And so this is an important moment in time right now from many, many different perspectives in terms of keeping our economy open, in terms of keeping people safe. And I think that Florida actually is really leading the way on many of these fronts. So watch Governor DeSantis. He could be some competition for Kamala Harris should Donald Trump decide not to run.